Alright, I kind of looked through a section, tried to see if where I should split it, and after the last video it took 40 minutes for the word problems. I'm pretty sure I should have split that in a different spot. And I kind of see where I should have done it now, because we have just one type of problem left, and there aren't very many of them. We're going to look at mixture word problems, but all the same principles that we saw in the last video are going to be true. So let's get started and we'll take it through. This will be much shorter, I promise. So we're making a mix. We've got raisins. I cannot spell. I'm a math person, so raisins, I guess, yeah. And nuts. Okay, so I'm making my dictionary over here. Now, what we normally do is, can I build one of them off of the other? So I'm looking through here, looking for a sentence where it tells me we're going to mix these two up. Can one of them be I don't know and the other one build off of that? Well, the problem is that I can't. I can't find anything. So what we're going to do is this. I know that we're making 10 pounds. So some of that's going to be raisins and the rest of that has to be the nuts. So we saw this one in the last video too with, I think, the total number of tickets sold. They would do that trick. So here we've got that trick again. I've got raisins, and then everything left over must be 10 minus the raisins, right? Isn't that the remainder of the mix? So if raisins is x, 10 minus x must be the nuts. Okay, from that point on, it's actually the same. So I think I should have made all of this type of problem where I divided the last one. But so look how I've set this up. I've got 2 times x, so it's $2 a pound for nuts. That's the total cost of the nuts. $6 a pound, or I'm sorry, I said that wrong. $2 a pound is the raisins. So 2x is the total amount of money that it costs to buy the raisins. $6 times the amount of nuts there. That's the total amount of money that I'm spending on the nuts. And if you put those two things together, you must have the total that the entire mix cost you. Oh, there's another twist here. Okay, now look at this real quickly. This is what students would normally like to do. But the other twist is, and this is good, maybe I left this alone. This is the total cost of the raisins right here. Total cost of the raisins. This is the total cost for the nuts. But if I set that equal to the one remaining number that I have, I'm incorrect. $5.20 a pound. That is not the total cost of my new mix. That is only the price per pound. This is a rate. It is not the total. And so on this one, I've got to modify the right side. So let me take you through that again. What I do over here is I check to make sure that what I'm putting together equals the right side. So I have the total amount of cost for raisins, the total amount of cost for nuts. But if I just put 520 on the right, that's not going to work. That's 520 per pound of trail mix. That's not the total. So I have to multiply it by the 10 total pounds that they have of the mix. I hope that makes sense. So what I'd have students do is make sure that the left and the right are saying the same thing. And if you don't multiply it by 10, it's not. This is total cost on the left, and now it's total cost on the right. So distributing. So we had another twist I wasn't expecting. And now over here we have to multiply $5.20 times 10, which is going to get me 52. Okay, now at this point it becomes what we've done before. I'm going to combine like terms. Notice I get a negative 4x. Okay, subtract away 60 from both sides because I want the factor puzzle alone. And if you were like me and you were worried about the negatives here, it's going to work itself out with double negatives. Now if we divide both sides by negative 4, the double negatives make that positive 2. So you must have had 2 pounds of the raisins. 10 minus 2 is the nuts, or 8 pounds. Okay, now these are tricky. Watch me work another one here. So I've got nuts and cereal. Okay, now it'd be nice if one of them built off the other, but they don't. So I'm going to just make nuts, I don't know. And I know that I've got 30 pounds of this mix, so the cereal must be everything else. So a lot of tricks here. I've got, I don't know is the number of nuts. If it's 30 total pounds, well, if I 30 minus x must be what's left over, must be the cereal. Okay, so I'm ready to start building, and I've got 7 pounds for the nuts. So this would be the total cost of the nuts. I've got 4 pounds for the cereal. Now remember your parenthesis there. Now it is. People want to stop at 650, but that's not right. The total amount of money is on the left, the total cost. This is not the total amount of money. That is only the price per pound. You multiply that by 30. Now it's a total. If it's 650 per pound and I want 30 pounds, now I've got a total, and the left side and the right side are saying the same thing. Okay. All right, combine like terms now. You have 7, but you owe me 4, so you got 3 left. So I'm getting the factor puzzle alone. Divide both sides by 3. Okay, so nuts is 25. Now the cereal is 30 minus 25. It must be 5. Okay, really recommend you pause and try this. I'm going to get started. I've got the fruit juice and I've got the soda. Okay, there's no way to build them other than to say I don't know the fruit, and we've got 28 gallons. So we're doing the leftover trick again. So fruit is I don't know, so soda must be everything else. So it's $3 for the fruit, so that's the total cost. It's $4 for the soda. Now that's the total cost. So it isn't just $3.25 over here. That is not the total cost of this new mix. We have to multiply it by 28. Okay, so I get 112 minus 4x. So multiplying those on the right, we get 91. So combine like terms here, I get minus x, 112. It's like minus 1x. I'm just going to show it as minus x, same thing. Subtracting 112 from both sides. Get negative 21. So divided by sides by negative, you get x is 21. Okay, soda is 28 minus 21, or 7. Okay, I think there's just one more type of problem. Okay, yeah, let's get started here. So she's got 2 accounts. One's going to make 3%. The other is going to make 5. So it's going to be the same issue that we had before. They don't let us build one off the other. So I'm going to make one I don't know, which means everything left over must be. So X amount is going into the 3% fund. That means everything left over is going into the 5% fund. So yeah, let's start building now. So you're going to see there's a little bit of a twist that we've already seen. So make these decimals. 3% is going into the first fund. So this would be the total money of interest that she makes. Then I have 5% going in to the second fund. I have enough zeros there. 20,000. Okay, now it equals, she wants to make 0.045%. But do you see this clearly doesn't match up? This is total amount of money there. This is total amount of money, or so the total money that she's earned. We need a total over here. This is just the percent. So we need to multiply that 4.5 by 20,000. So we need the left and right to match. This is total money made in that fund. This is total money made in that fund. So I need the total money made overall. Let me see if they've worked this for us. So they've distributed everything for us. Combine like terms, we get down to here. So 0.045 times 20,000 gets me 900. So we solve all this down. I get 5,000. Now 5,000 was in our 3% fund. So we go back to our dictionary. 20,000 minus 5,000 must be the 5% fund. So 15,000. So 5,000 in the 3% fund, 15 in the 5. Okay, so we've got a 4% fund and a 7% fund. They don't build off each other, so I'm going to say one of them's I don't know, which makes the other one 14,000 minus I don't know. That's the leftovers. And that's all my money and what it's been put in. Okay, so I already know that it's 4% in that first fund. That's the money I've made. It's 7% in the second fund. That's the money I've made. And she wants to make 6.1%. Got to make it a decimal. But I need an amount of money. That's not a total amount. That's just a rate. Well, it's off the 14,000, the total cash that she had. Okay, so we're going to just do what we've been doing. We're going to distribute there. So while I'm crunching this here, it would be valuable if you're like doing this by hand to go ahead and clear out the decimals at the beginning. But I don't mind at all if you use your calculator on this, and I'm doing the same thing. So I'm not going to clear it out. I'm just going to work with the decimals. Okay, so I've multiplied everything through. Now I'm going to put my x's together. You got to clean this room up. So I've got negative 0.03x. Okay, now I want to get the factor puzzle alone. So I've got 854 minus 980. That's a 6, sorry. Okay, divide both sides by negative 0.03. Now it's a negative number, so I'm dividing that whole number. I want the sign. So I'm dividing by negative 0.03. And I get x is 4,200. Now that's the money that was in this one, $4,200. Now the other one is 14,000 minus that 4,200. And so the other fund had 9,800. Now that's money, so I should probably put a dollar sign in front of these guys. Okay, yeah, seeing what we got left here. Last one. So try it on your own. I'd really recommend. I've got these two funds. Building my dictionary. I don't know. I can't build one off the other, so I've got to build it off the total amount of money that I had. So that's the amount of money in each of the two funds. So this is the money I made in the 3.2% fund. This is the total I made in the 8% fund. And it equals, she wants to make 0.065 off the total fund. So it can't just be 0.065. It's got to be multiplied by the money she started with. Oops. Hold on. I shouldn't have done that yet. So I should distribute this. And I'll get 640 minus 0.08x equals 0.065 times 8,000. So equals 520 over there. Okay, now I'm combining my like terms, my x's. Subtract 640 from both sides. Okay, now we're going to divide away that this exact number and the negative sign. You got to take that sign with it. Oops. So I get $2,500. All right, so there's $2,500 in there. I need my dictionary to tell me. 2,500 in the 3.2% fund. And then we're into 8,000 minus the 2,500. And there must have been $5,500 in the other fund. Okay, that's pretty complicated. Now I see why I broke it up there. I hope you see that. A little different, that we had to adjust the right side as well. So what I tell students is make sure that what is on what you've created on the left is telling the same thing as on the right. And if not, you may need to adjust the right by multiplying it by something.